So, hello guys, how have you been? It's been a minute. For a while, I've not really made any content around books, although I've been reading books and even books. But I wouldn't call it that I was in a reading slum, but I didn't read for quite some time because of number one, work, and then number two, business. As you know, in this part of the world, our business can be seasonal. So this school starting in September and all that is the season where business is very, very hectic. So I just abandoned my books and then faced my business. So for a while I had not been reading. But then some time back I made my September TBR. I think it was at the ending of August, and I showed you guys some books that I wanted to read in the month of September. But guess what? I exceeded my own expectations. I read even more than what I intended to read because, as I told you earlier in another video, as I came back into reading this year, at first I was very slow, but naturally my speed increased. I didn't put in any effort. I just noticed that I was reading more and more books in a month. Like the first month, in the month of July, I was only able to read two books, and then in August, I think I was able to read four, and then in September, I think I read a total of, even with the business stress and all that, I was able to read a total of five books. So in this video, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys all the books I was able to read in the month of September, and find out if you guys have read anything from these authors. And disclaimer, they are old books, they are not by all the authors that's, never mind that, is my blinds are just closed by themselves. I'm just going to go ahead and open them and I'll be right back. So there won't be anything by all these authors that I always see on TikTok, on Bookstagram and all that. So I just pick up books and read. If I find a book interesting, that one, then I will now go back and now begin to check, okay, who wrote this book and all that. Before I even realized who Stephen King was, I think I had read more than five of his books. I was not like wondering, and this people, the writing style, I just noticed they were the same. I now checked out, and lo and behold, they were all by the same author. So let's get right to it. And guys, I would like you to please like the video, drop comments, and then subscribe to support the channel. So, in the month of September, these I think these are the books I showed you guys in the other video. I said it was this one is Hemlock Bay by Catherine Coulter. Even though it is an old book, it did not meet my expectation. It was a very, very, very light read. I think it was a time when crime thrillers were just beginning to be a thing. So they were just writing about a character that was surrounded by evil people. They were trying to take away her inheritance and all that, all the scheming and everything. It was not even deep at all. Let me not even say very deep. It was not deep at all. It was a very light read, very, very light. So, and then the plot was not thick at all. So, like, I quickly went through it and then I finished it very, very quickly. So, it did not meet my expectations. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I ended up reading quite a lot of books in the month of September. And the second book I showed you guys I'll be reading in the month of September is Celebrity. So this book I really, really liked. Although the plot sort of at the end started dragging on and on, but the pacing I really liked. So it follows three characters right from their secondary school days or high school days, as they will say, right up to their middle age. That's when they were in their 40s. How their lives evolved and how some of the decisions that they took in when they were young or when they were teenagers affected their lives in the future. And people always say that if you want to know a Sunday that will be good, you start the Friday will show you, as they say. So these three friends, one of them was the bad egg, as they say, and then he was the one that put the other two friends, the three of them, into very, very big trouble when they were teenagers. Although they managed to will I say escape or hide the crime that he basically made them commit by being complicit. Not that they committed the crime, but he just made them to shut up about it, and this haunted them for the rest of their days. The other two went ahead to be successful, but they were constantly living under the shadow of this fear, of this crime that this other third friend committed, and then they had to keep quiet about it. But this particular third friend went ahead in his later life or throughout his life to commit more and more crimes. In fact, his was a life of crime. It was as if he could not even make it up successful except he was committing crime. So in the end, he died he died the death rather of a criminal, and ended up dragging one of these his friends to the grave with him. In the end, it was only one friend that survived. So it was a very, very tense, and the plot was very, very thick. And I really liked it. It was by, let me see, okay, by Thomas Thompson. Thomas Thompson is the person that wrote this book. Celebrity is the name of the book, and I really enjoyed it. So it's an old book, as I always say, but I really, really enjoyed it. And if I find anything by him, I'm sure I'll check it out. So that was the second book that I read in the month of September. Another book that I read in the month of September that really, really, really touched me in a deep way is Nobody's Fool by Richard Russo. So Nobody's Fool by Richard Russo, as I said. So this book follows just like it says at the front page, it says, like all the best fiction, Nobody's Fool is a revelation of the human heart. That is a review by Washington Post Book World. So, and I think I totally agree with them. So the book follows the life of a man who, because of the choices or the results or the outcomes he keeps getting in his life, everybody thinks he's a fool. You understand? So because of the reasons that the decisions that he takes and the results that he gets in his life, people consider him a fool. Even in our lives or in our circles and all that, there are people that are like that. So we feel they are not, how will I put it? They make poor choices and they are foolish. So this story follows the life of this a particular guy like that. So in the end, it was proven that he was nobody's fool, that in fact every single human being on the face of the earth is a fool at some point in their lives. That is what the conclusion of the book came to, because in the end he now became the one that everybody was looking up to and depending on, even though they believed that he made poor choices and he was not trustworthy and he was in fact foolish. Because as time went on and as the outcome of their own decisions began to unfold, they now realized that no single human being on earth is perfect. We all make mistakes, and then the outcomes we expect do not always come to pass. Does that make us foolish? Or does it make us stupid? So that was a question, I think, that was basically being explored in this book. So it really, really, how will I say it, made me to have more faith in myself, actually. That is what I will say honestly about this book, and I really enjoyed it. The book was written by Richard Russo. It was written by Richard Russo, and from the cover, it is as if he has won a Pulitzer Prize for one other book that he has written. So if I find anything by him, again, I'm sure going to check it out. So this is another book that I read in the month of September. So that is making a total of 3, but there is more to come. So I think okay, let's see. Yeah. So this book, Jem and Sam, is another book that I read in the month of September. So In the cover, it says a brilliant pastiche of 17th century prose that can handle everything from erotic follies to the sound of the Great Fire of London approaching. That is by the New York Times Book Review. So this book basically follows. I think it was written by Jem and Sam actually, from their own POVs. Then it is now left for you and the reader to now compare, because it was as if both of them were seeking their own self-interest. Jem was writing against Sam, and Sam was writing against Jem, and it is based on true life events that happened in the 17th century, as they say. So it really follows the life of a certain man. I think it was Jem. Jem is his name, or Sam. It's actually written by Ferdinand Mount. So he was ambitious, but throughout his life he ended up being, let's say, like a servant, or somebody that serves royalty, somebody that serves those in authority. And you know how they were in those times in the 17th century. And then reading this book, it will amaze you to find out what all these people that serve celebrities, or should I say those in authority or those in power, kings, queens, and all that, have to do. In the eyes of the public, we think we know what their duties are, but behind the curtains, their duties are sometimes indescribable. But I don't want to act as a spoiler. But this particular guy that this book was about, he served, well, I say, generations of queens, princes, and kings like that. One of them even wanted to use him as a surrogate father because she could not conceive by her own husband. So he, as a servant, against his own will, was now forced into the business of trying to impregnate his mistress. So that is one of the subplots of this novel, and I was like, wow. So it was a very, very interesting read, and I really liked it. And it has a lot of positive review. Okay, the book follows Jeremiah Mount. That is Jem. Yeah, it follows Jem. It says, while Jeremiah Mount receives only small mention in the celebrated diary of Samuel Pepys. So those are the two people that I talked about, Jeremiah Mount and Samuel Pepys. In James' own memoirs, Sam figures significantly and unflatteringly large as an ill-natured, gulling colleague in Oliver Cromwell's government, and the measly mouse of a man who sets the professionally envious Jem on a hapless path of revenge. Their personal destinies crisscrossing to wildly ironic ends. Jem and Sam pursue worldly success and their erotic whims in the bustling, boisterous city of 17th century London at the same time that they survive war, rebellion, pestilence, and the Great Fire. So, yes, Jem is the one that actually majorly is written about. So, those, as I said before, I really like the book by Ferdinand Mount. So it is a very, very interesting read. So, guys, those are the books I was able to read in the month of September, even though I was very, very busy, as I said before, with my business. So, 4 whole books, as you can see. So, I'm really, really proud of myself. So I would like to know from you guys, what were you able to read? How many books were you able to read in the month of September? And some people will feel what I was able to read was not impressive. For those that read 7 books in 7 days, I'm not bothered. This is what I was able to read, and I really enjoyed myself. And I'm looking forward to reading more books in the month of October. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to support the channel by subscribing. See you in the next video. Bye.